Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys, this is another movie review. Today we're tackling Joker 2, aka Joker Folie, Deux, aka Joker the McDonald Order. So this is, oh boy, this is a movie that was pretty much hated ever since kind of the trailer dropped, alright? You know, they had the musical aspect to it and they had a bit of a different feel to it, and half the internet thought it was cool, half the internet hated it, and now if you look on the Rotten Tomatoes for the actual Joker 2 film, it has like a 36 or like a 34 critic and like a 32 audience. So yeah, this movie, if you go on YouTube, you go on Twitter, you go anywhere online, everyone and their mom, I guess, hates this effing movie. Now, fortunately, me and my mom went to go see this movie, and she doesn't like the whole dark shit to it, you know, she likes, like, Disney movies more, but, I mean, I don't like dark stuff either too much, but this is I'm just gonna say it, I don't, if you throw hate, I'm just gonna block you, I don't give a crap, I'm used to hate. Joker 2 is effing incredible. It is a masterpiece. I'm just gonna say it. And I can't really get into a whole lot of spoilers because, again, the movie just released. I don't know if this is coming out Friday or Saturday, but probably Saturday, knowing homework. But so I'm not going to dive into too many spoilers here. But basically, I do think that Joker 1 is the more iconic movie, but I genuinely believe that Joker 2 is a great follow-up. I mean, it's a beautiful, you know, successful. Not successful, I guess, but successor, I guess, in pretty much every way. So you get, essentially, Arthur Fleck. It's been 2 years since the events of Joker 1, and he's kind of in Arkham Asylum or some weird prison, and he is just kind of not really having it. You know, like, they're like, hey, Arthur, you got a joke for us? You gonna tell me a joke, Fleck? And he's just not telling jokes. He's kind of sick of it. So that kind of clues the audience in as to what's going on. But, you know, obviously we'll get the basics out of the way, right? The acting is, I mean, it's perfect. Everyone does a great job. Everyone in this movie is very good. Obviously, Joaquin Phoenix is probably the best. Will he win an Oscar? Is this like an Oscar winner performance? Maybe. It's probably just as good as his performance in Joker 1. If not, maybe even a little bit better. Everyone in this movie, from either Joker 1 or, you know, like Harley Quinn, you know, Lee, she does great as well, Lady Gaga. This is my first movie with Lady Gaga in it, so I haven't really, you know, I don't like, I'll just say it, I don't like her music. Not my kind of genre. I don't hate her as a person, though. Like, I don't really know anything about her, but I don't know. I mean, she's fine, I guess. But in this movie, she did a good job. I think everyone did a good job there. The writing is great, obviously. It's a Joker movie. Todd Phillips, I think, did a really good job with the writing. Obviously, there are, you know, you go online and they're like, oh, man. Todd is like, you know, in an interview, he's like, oh, Joaquin and I, we were talking and we just rewrote the whole movie. We just went in the trailer and freaking wrote it on a napkin. And I'm like, kind of like The Acolyte, you probably shouldn't say certain things in the interview process because it's going to come out as either, you know, in The Acolyte's case, woke, which thankfully The Acolyte really wasn't woke, but you have, you know, same type of thing where Todd is like, oh yeah, we wrote the whole script on a piece of paper, a napkin, silk cloth. And everyone's like, great, so you're a freaking moron. And, you know, I mean, it's like, you don't say that kind of thing. Maybe you did do it, cool, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. But the writing is good. The music is, again, phenomenal. They use a lot of the music from Joker 1, but also some new stuff that Lady Gaga sings. Again, she has a new album out, so maybe some of the songs are on that album. I don't really know. I'm not going to listen to it. But I do think that, you know, she's fine. You know, I mean, a lot of the campaigning stuff in this film is that, you know, Harley Quinn, Joker, whatever, Lee, Arthur, they wanted to sing for real in camera. There's no ADR, there's no like, oh, we're just going to sing like crap and then actually sing in the studio and like, you know, make it better. They actually sang, for the most part, from what I understand, when they were actually filming. So, you know, Todd said action and they sang and they danced and what you hear on screen is how they did it in the movie, which is kind of cool. And again, speaking of the music, we gotta get, oh boy, we gotta get to the music. So this is this is not a musical. I'm just gonna say it, right? This is not a musical in the sense that it's not like the Muppets or Mary Poppins where, you know, like they start dancing and singing and then everyone starts singing and dancing, right? This is not like the Muppets where the whole street, you know, the whole city of Gotham is in on it and they're all singing and dancing. That's not what this is. Pretty much, you know, when Arthur and Lee sing, that is, or, you know, the big musical numbers, right, where Lee looks all pretty and Arthur looks like he's in the makeup and all that, and, you know, like, you'll go from, like, a shot of Arthur not in the makeup, like, feeling, like, you know, good, not good, but, you know, feeling a little bit upbeat that he met Lee, and then, you know, it transitions to the musicals, you know, scene, and from there you see, you know, they're all different looking and all that, and there's the bright neon lights, and it's all flashy, and everyone's dancing and all that, and it's you know, good songs, I guess, but that is symbolic of how the characters are feeling. So it's not like they're actually singing and dancing, right? There's a scene where Arthur is looking at a TV monitor, and one of the prison inmates is like, "Hey Arthur, what do you think about that?" "Yeah." And all the guards are like, "Oh, shut up," and Arthur's just kind of standing there, and then it goes right into him singing and dancing, right? And he's singing, and this other guy's dancing, and it's like a big musical number. And then it hard cuts to Arthur still standing there, and they're like, "What are you fucking doing? Talk," So stuff like that, and I think it's really interesting because again, it's not a musical in the sense that the whole world is in on it. For the most part, whenever Arthur or Lee are singing and dancing, and they have all the stuff, and they're all gussied up, and you got like the big Hotel Arkham thing in the trailer. All of that is essentially in their head, right? And that is good because it's symbolic, like I said, of how the characters are feeling, right? There's a few moments where Arthur feels betrayed or sad or happy, and then the music will depict that in really clever ways. And again, even though all of it's happening in their heads or whatever, for the most, there are some scenes where they're actually singing, but there's no music. They're just kind of singing to each other. I think it's really well handled. Again, I think as a fan of, I guess, musicals for like Muppets and Disney, I wouldn't really consider myself a major musical fan. Like, I'll watch a musical sometimes, but I'd rather watch any other genre, comedy, action, horror, for example, than a musical. But, to people to, I guess, judge this film from the trailer and say, "Oh, it's a musical? Oh, that must mean it's for girls. Baby, this is going to be woke," It's like, no, it's not a musical. There's just some songs in it. And Todd's right. Like, coming from someone who actually effing watched the movie, it really isn't a musical. There are songs in it, but not in the traditional way. Again, it's a storytelling technique where, Arthur very much had musicality in him in the first film, right? He's dancing with his mom. He's dancing on the stairs. He dances in the freaking bathroom after he kills 3 people. Like, there's a lot of dancing in that first movie. It's not a musical per se, but there is musicality in Arthur, and they kind of capitalized that on this film with him and Lee, which is pretty awesome. Now, the big thing with this movie is that a lot of people say, again, I can't really spoil it because it's just released, but it's going to be hard to do that, but people essentially say that this movie is horrible and trash and the worst sequel ever made, and Todd Phillips has to die. If you look on... Now, we all know Twitter is a shithole, right? I think we can all agree on that. The internet is also very close to that Twitter status, right? YouTube's a little weird, but it was, I was kind of nervous going into this movie, thinking, wow, everyone in there, like I said, everyone in the freaking world seems to hate Joker, Folie, and Deux, right? Everyone hates this movie. Every YouTuber I've watched is like, yeah, I guess the new term is, I don't fuck with it, but I guess I fucked with it, right? For all the 10-year-olds watching, I used your lingo. But, with that, speaking of 10-year-olds, a lot of the people that hated this movie say it's boring. And that's because they don't have adult brains, like, straight up. I don't care if you are an adult. Maybe you do find it boring, I don't know, I guess it's personal taste, but a lot of it is, much like Joker 1, it's a slow burn of a movie, right? This is not a DC action movie where Joker's robbing banks with Harley and Batman's there, and oh my god, Harvey Dent's here, so that means Two-Face, no. That's not what this is. This is a very slow-paced movie. And there is action, right? There's violence, and not a whole lot, but it's not just talking the whole time, thankfully, but stuff happens. But again, like a lot of the people all the negativity I've seen is that the music makes no sense. It does make sense thematically and with the writing. I saw the movie. It makes, again, this is like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, right? If you use your effing brain for like 3 seconds, you'll understand it. It's not hard. It's not poorly written. You just don't know what it is. I hate to sound like a jackass, but it's like if you don't understand something, it might be you. It's not the movie. Now, I know there are movies that have really shit writing. I'm not going to say that every movie's, you're the problem. I'm not saying you, but people, That's not the case with this film, though. It is well written. The music makes sense. And again, it is slow. And I can see how some people could get bored because, they're expecting, I don't know what they're expecting. But if you've seen the first movie, you know what to expect pretty much from this film. But again, we're in this generation of TikTok babies who, if they're not entertained with flashing colors and lights every 5 seconds, they're checking out. And that's kind of, it's weird because there's musicality in this, right? There are flashing lights and music, so it's weird. But yeah, again, I think that it was really well paced. And to get into another reason why people hate this film is that they claim that Joker in the first film is not the same Joker writing-wise or character-wise or whatever as he is in Joker 2. And again, I can't ruin it. I hate saying that so many times, but there's a lot of stuff that can be spoiled. Sadly, I did get spoiled. This movie was in like the Cannes, Italy Film Festival or whatever, and some moron like posted an interview with Todd Phillips, and Todd Phillips kind of spoiled the ending of that interview, so hopefully you didn't get ruined like myself. But that is to say, there's a lot of stuff that can be ruined. And one of the aspects of this film is that, to put it lightly without ruining a whole lot, Arthur is, a lot of people think that Joker is mishandled character-wise, right? And here's the thing. Arthur Fleck is Joker, but he's not the Joker. I think we need to get that thought about for a second. What does that mean? Well, let me explain. So, in Joker 1, right, Arthur Fleck is born mentally ill, but his mom also, sexually and physically abused him. Pretty bad stuff, okay? I don't recommend that. But at the same time, Arthur Fleck is trying to be a normal, good person, right? Joker, a lot of the times in the movies or comics or video games, he's just like some crazy guy who wants to kill that Batman. That's what he is. He's just some crazy killing clown, and that's it. You got the Red Hood and you got whatever, but a lot of the times he's just some crazy effing clown. That's nuts. But this movie, these two movies, really kind of look at this character in the most realistic lens you could ever look at Joker. And again, Arthur Fleck is not a born killer. He's I don't want to say normal person, but he's trying to be a normal, good person, right? And then he basically just wants to be noticed, seen, and loved. Pretty much like all of us. Now, I don't recommend we go killing people that bully us. That's not good. But basically, whoever Arthur kills in Joker 1 wronged him in some way. He's not just killing innocents off the street like GTA, you know what I mean? So, Arthur is trying to be a good person. He then creates the Joker persona basically to be seen, right? He introduces to Murray Franklin in the first film, can you introduce me as Joker? Everyone's calling him Joker, and finally Arthur was like, hey, I made up this Joker guy, this Joker thing with the clown makeup and the clothes. I'm being seen, right? The end of Joker 1, when he's on the cop car and he's dancing and all that, he's being seen, he's being noticed, he's being loved. Maybe by some really effed up mentally people as well, but it's still a form of love and being noticed and seen and heard. And to Arthur, it's like, hey, shit, this is great. I'll just keep being Joker. This is cool. And then 2 years later, he's kind of over it. Why? Because in this film, one of the aspects is that Joker has this kind of split personality, right? I'm not going to get into it, but the movie opens with actually like an animated segment. And I thought it was a preview, but it's part of the movie. The animated segment perfectly, recaps the end of Joker 1 in a really unique way. Think of kind of like Gollum, who's evil, right? And then Smeagol, which was good. It's basically Gollum is Joker, Arthur is Smeagol. And there's kind of these dual personalities. At least that's what the one psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, in this film thinks. She's like, oh, Arthur, you are a good person, but because of your past, because of your trauma, you invented the Joker personality. And at the end of this movie, Arthur has a revelation. But with that, you kind of have this element of, okay, maybe there is like a split personality, right? Maybe Arthur wants to become Joker to separate himself from the bullies of his life. Turns out that's not really the case, but, we'll watch the movie, you'll find out what happens. But a lot of this, it's a lot of good writing and a lot of good stuff. Oh, a lot of stuff to think about, which is cool. But, people asking, oh, he's not a character, like, no. Arthur was never Joker. Never. He wanted to be called Joker, and he wanted to be seen as Joker at first because that was his way of getting attention and love. And then once that kind of goes sideways and Arthur starts to realize, hey, everyone loves me, but everyone loves me as Joker, the killing clown, not Arthur Fleck, the human being with emotions and feelings. And that's when it starts to go crazy. And that's the breadth and depth of this film's writing. And it's freaking beautiful. Because you have not just a cackling maniac clown. You have a person who wants to be loved by society for who he is, not from what he's become. And that's fucking amazing writing. I'm sorry, but it's beautiful. And the people that watch this movie be like, it's boring, or it's not a character. It's the same thing with this. Same exact thing. I swear to God, people don't use their brains. They wanted to see a certain version of this film, regardless of that being Joker or Harley Quinn or whatever. They had a specific image of that. And when it didn't happen, they hated it. That's not how we view media. We view media based on what we got, not on what we should have or would have wanted to get. And what we got in Joker 2 is pretty much the best follow-up you could ask for, realistically, in this universe, okay? I'm not going to say how it ends, All I'm going to say is that Todd Phillips did say there is no Joker 3. So when this film ends, that's pretty much the end of the Joker universe or whatever, unless they connect it to whatever universe otherwise, you know, DCU, DCEU, Dark Knight, whatever, you know what I mean? But basically, this is the end. And for what happened in the first film, you know, realistically, what would happen? Okay, Arthur would he would be tried, right? Okay, that happens. People are mad that there's a courtroom drama. And yeah, there is a lot of this movie in court, right? It's in Arkham, it's in court, but I cared about this character in the first movie. Joker 1 is one of my favorite films ever made, straight up. Like, it's a 10 out of 10. And this film follows up, again, in probably the best way I could ever see that going. With the musical stuff, again, really fitting the narrative as well. It's not just there to be there. It serves a purpose within the film. And again, people that are saying Joker's out of character, again, I'm sorry. I hate being that YouTuber, but I'm going to be real. You're wrong. He is the same character. Arthur Fleck was never Joker. Again, he invented the Joker character to be seen, and in this film he starts to realize that's not really going the way he wants, and then stuff happens in the end. But it's a very well thought out film. And I know that, they wrote it on a napkin. You know, I get it. The whole napkin thing's a little weird. But I'm not going to lie. I effing love this movie. As far as negatives, I genuinely couldn't think of that many. I had a few issues with Lee, and I'm like, why is she doing this? What's really going on with this character? And by the end of the movie, that got settled, so that negative went away. The musicals, I was really scared that it would just be too music heavy, or, you know, it wouldn't make any sense. Thankfully, the music served a purpose, because again, if you watched the first movie and paid attention, Joker, or Arthur Fleck, has music in him, and in that, you know, when Arthur and Lee can't talk, they sing to express themselves in how they're feeling. And then by the end of the movie, something really clever happens with Arthur kind of confronting Lee on the stairs, on the steps that he walks up and down in the first film. Really good stuff there. Again, in terms of CGI, there really isn't a whole lot of CGI. I mean, I guess the blood or whatever, but, you know, I think it looks fine. There was one or two shots of Joker 1 that looked a little bit wonky with the CGI when he's walking to the Arkham Hospital, stuff like that. But CGI in this, I had no issues with. The acting was phenomenal. The writing is phenomenal. The music is phenomenal. I mean, I genuinely don't understand. Like, every review I saw, like I said, it's boring. Okay, I guess your attention span is BS, because I was engaged the entire way through. Very good, again, as I said, all the check marks, right? Music, acting, writing, CGI, it's all great. I love the way they handled Arthur Fleck and how they actually, you know, gave him more of a character arc, which is really great as well. How that kind of blended into what Lee was talking about and what she wanted from him. All the Arkham cops are, you know, they're well acted. You really, really freaking hate these guys by the end. You want Arthur to kill him. I'm not going to say if he does or not, but you know, we definitely. I think that's the beauty of the Joker 1 and 2 movies, is that, like, we're supposed to. Yes, you know, Arthur Fleck killed people. I get it. Killing people is wrong, unless you're in a video game. Killing people is wrong. Don't do it. But, you know, everyone that Arthur killed wronged him. Like I said, he's not playing Grand Theft Auto 5. He's not just murdering random people for the hell of it. He has his reasons. And I'm not saying that's good because you have reasons. I'm just saying that he's not the sadistic killer that Joker normally is, where he's just murdering innocent people off the street for fun. You know, so there are reasons why Arthur is doing these things. And by the end of the movie, there's this revelation that he has where you really kind of feel for this character that, yeah, he's not just some sadistic killer clown. He's a human. He wants to be loved. And, you know, a lot of effed up things happen to this guy. And again, Joker 1 and 2, they are dramas, but they are also tragedies. I know tragedy isn't a genre, but that's how I would best describe these two movies. When I walked out of Joker 1, I don't have depression. I get sad, but I don't know what that's like. I felt defeated as heck when I walked out of Joker 1. I was like, that was a masterpiece. But I want to sleep now. Like, I want to go to bed early. You know what I mean? So, like, I walked out of Joker 2 expecting to feel like that. And yeah, this is even more dark than the first film in some instances, right? Arthur goes through some crazy stuff. And again, the music and all that, the editing and all that is top-notch as well. But again, I really, really want to hit home that this version of Joker is not what you expect. This is not Joker from Arkham Asylum. This is not Lego Batman Joker. This is not Dark Knight Returns Joker or Heath Ledger or Jared Leto, right? This is Arthur Fleck, right? Becoming Joker for XYZ reasons, which they explain very clearly in this film why. So no, I mean, nothing was backpedaled, nothing was I saw some reviews that like this movie was apologizing for Joker 1 and Todd was saying sorry and he was like correcting his mistake. No. Like The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker, nothing was retconned, nothing was changed. It's just a continuation of a story. And by the end of the movie, I walked out going, I didn't think to myself, oh, that was bad, or oh man, they really ruined the first one by ruining his character. No, like, if you watch this movie and know Joker, know Arthur Fleck as a character, understand filmmaking, you will walk away from this film very happy. Again, if you wanted to see Joker and Harley robbing banks and calling him Puddin' and all the stuff you expect from DC Comics, that's not what this is. So just don't go into this film, thinking about that stuff, because that's not what's going to happen. This is its own unique take on the character of Joker. And again, I think it's very, very well handled. This is not my favorite movie of all time, but as far as what you could basically, I consider Joker a perfect movie. If you follow up on Joker with this film, Joker 2, Folie, Deux, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty much as good as you're going to get. Again, with there being no Joker 3, it's just this, Joker 1 and 2. And I think that they really did a great job, again, for all the reasons I described. But again, I really, really want you guys to understand, if you're on the fence because the internet is telling you they ruined his character or whatever, they didn't. I promise you. I know I'm not going to get that many views on this. I wish I would. Probably deserve it too. But, with that being said, don't just take my word, okay? I actually watched the movie. I have a brain. I know filmmaking. I'm not saying I'm the best guy that, I don't know every movie ever. I'm not perfect with film, but when I watch something and I enjoy something, I pour my heart and soul into it, and I love that first Joker movie. I love DC. I love Joker as a character, right? Like, I voice Joker for different people. I can do a Mark Hamill impression. I just did it in this video, so maybe I'll get discovered, who knows, but I think that's really interesting that they did a unique take on this character. I think Joker is one of the best villains ever put to cinema, or just in general. And, every version from Jared Leto to Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger to this guy, Joaquin Phoenix, they all have something unique to bring to the table. And this film is very, very effing unique, I'll tell you that much. The action, or, the violence is what you would expect. It is an R-rated movie. It is also rated R for, like, brief full nudity. My mom saw it, I didn't see anything. I swear to God, I wasn't looking for it, but I watched the movie, and my mom apparently saw some naked prisoner in the shadows, but you don't see any junk or nothing, so thank God. I was praying, but please don't show Arthur completely naked, for God's sake, please. If anything, show Lee, for God's sake, right, as a dude, but no, none of them are. There is a sex scene. It's like 16 seconds long, and it's just like, imagine taking, I don't have any toys, but imagine taking two Barbie dolls, like Barbie and Ken, fully clothed, and then just kind of rubbing them on each other. That's pretty much what this is. It's trust me, it's not porn, okay? So don't be nervous. I was a little nervous because I'm watching this with my, like when you're watching a movie with like your parents and there's like a sex scene, it feels really effing weird, Like you gotta fast forward or something, it's kind of weird feeling. It's like watching, Deadpool with my grandma, and then like she walks in during the strip club scene, and you gotta like cover the screen with your eye, It's just weird, It's weird. But with that being said, like I said, I don't really understand why it's brief full nudity. I didn't see nothing. So don't worry. This is still an adult movie, so there's a lot of F words and there's a lot of blood and gore. It's not Evil Dead gore, but still, I just thought that was kind of odd. I was a little nervous. I'm like, oh man, please don't. I don't want to see any naked stuff, and I didn't see anything. But overall, man, like I said, this movie is pretty much as good as you're gonna get. I don't really want to call it like a masterpiece like Joker 1. Again, I think Joker 1 is more iconic, but Joker 2. I think it might just be as good, though, like in terms of quality. Maybe even a little bit better, because they're able to follow up on Joker 1 with the music stuff and actually have it make sense, which is really great. And again, for everyone complaining online, I don't understand. I want to say you're wrong. Like, I don't think we saw the same movie. Because, again, well, the reasons I talked about. But maybe I'll do a spoiler review and I'll talk about the individual, really go into depth of why I think this. Again, it's hard for me to give specific reasons because it just released in theaters, but if I give it a little bit more time, I could probably give you some more information. But overall, man, Joker the McDonald's Order, Folie Deux, Joker 2 is pretty much perfect as well as the first one. I really don't have any negatives. I think that from the very beginning of this movie with that animated segment, and then like you see Joker walking with the prison guards in the rain, and they have black umbrellas, and then it goes to a top-down perspective, and in Joker's world they have colorful umbrellas. Like that stuff is so creative and imaginative that you know, I really think it instantly hooked me. Like, yeah, there's a lot of talking, right? There's a lot of courtroom stuff, a lot of talking. This is not an action movie. This is not Batman v Superman, but it's engaging in basically every way, where I care about Arthur, I care about Lee even, I care about Rupert Puddle or whatever, the little guy from the first movie. I care about Drummond or whatever, Dumond or you know Sophie whatever, Zazie Beetz in the first one. You know, there's characters I like in these two movies, and it's really really great to see them kind of, you know, flesh out the world and flesh out Arthur as a character, which is really great. Again, nothing gets regressed, nothing is apologizing. Todd isn't saying, I'm sorry for making the first one. They build upon the first one in really, really great ways. Nothing has been diminished, nothing has been lessened. In fact, that movie is made even better now by this film, and I think it's really, really great. So as it stands right now, Joker 1 and 2, I'm pretty certain are pretty much perfect movies to me, and at least in terms of, you know, DC. And again, as far as negatives, I genuinely, like, I was racking my brain thinking, man, what can I say? Like, what didn't I, you know, everyone hates it. I gotta hate something. I didn't really hate anything. I think that they really nailed every aspect of this film. So I'm gonna give Joker, Folie, whatever, Joker 2 an A+. I thought it was a very well-made film. And again, I'm not some kind of weird shill. I'm not like, oh, Joker 1's great. Like, no, like, I have my own brain and I used it. I think a lot of people hating on this film should use it as well. I think a lot of people that are giving this film unnecessary hate just straight up don't understand it. Much like the sequels. They don't get it. You know what I mean? And it's sad. Media literacy is dying because, you know, Twitter tells you to think one thing, or, you know, the internet says, this movie bad, you hate. And then they go, oh, well, I guess I'll hate it. You know what I mean? Why? You didn't watch it. I don't know, because the internet told me to. Like, that's how the internet works. These people are, not you, but these people are stupid. And I think if they just used their brain for a second and really understood film and how film is made and why these, you know, why Todd Phillips did a certain thing, or why the movie ended the way it did, or why the movie began the way it did, there are thematic, intentional reasons why. And I think if you really, again, think about a movie for more than 8 seconds, you will really understand why this is happening. I did, and I absolutely loved this film. Again, it's dark, it's depressing. You're not going to walk out of this movie, you know, happy. It's a really effed up film, but it's a very well-made film. So anyway, tell me down below without spoiling what you thought about Joker 2. You probably hated it. I think everyone hates it. I think I'm probably the only one that genuinely loves this movie. But yeah, you know, I'm not... I love movies that everyone hates, like Cars 2, awesome, right? Got a 30% or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm used to Lego Ninjago movie, Kingsman 2, you know, I'm used to loving films that everyone hates. I really don't care, like, you know what I mean? Whatever you think is good, whatever I think is good. And I genuinely enjoyed this film. So if you haven't seen Joker 2 in theaters, I know it just released. I'm filming this on the Friday. You're probably seeing it Saturday when this video first drops, but see it. Like, you know what I mean? Please, I didn't rewatch Joker 1. I should have. I was playing Call of Duty. But still, I love these two movies, man. I genuinely think it's very special for DC to make these two movies. And Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, they nailed it. And I think it's going to be a great film. And I can't wait to get it on Blu-ray. I want to see it again in theaters, man. I really do. But yeah, please support this film. And I thought it was pretty great. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you in the next video.